So, a quick assessment of self love and if you really do love yourself or not is you can consider that as within, so without. So, all of your encounters are a direct reflection of how you feel within, your thoughts, your beliefs, right? Your worthiness, right? What you believe to be true, so be it unto you. Okay, that's written. So you can do a self-evaluation of your love tank and really how much you really love yourself based on your encounters. Okay, I know it sounds really crazy, but stick with me to the end and I will show you exactly how. God is love and God is radiating love and love is within us and we're made in his image. Your encounters should be loving, okay? I know it sounds crazy because you're on planet Earth and in contrasts happen and adversity happens, but for the most part, your daily encounters should be loving. If you are radiating love yourself, remember what you put out, that's what we can return to you. And what you believe to be true will be true for you. Okay. So again, it's a direct reflection of your thoughts, your beliefs, your worthiness. So take a score of what you believe and what your encounters are rather. It's your daily encounters with love, and that includes your encounters with nature, your encounters with pets, your encounters with other people, so your relationships, your friendships, any of those sorts, even love relationships. What kind of encounters are you experiencing? Are they loving? And that again can give you direct reflection of what you really believe and do you really love yourself or not. Because you have to consider some deeply rooted conditioning. So remember, tons of us are walking on autopilot based on some deeply rooted conditioning that we, you know, experienced in childhood. And so some of us are really just kind of on autopilot. So the way to do an assessment of your love tank and how you really feel about yourself and some of your issues, right, with love, or if you have any deeply rooted issues or conditioning that's negative around love, it's just to do an encounter or doing a score or evaluation of your daily encounters with love or with others. To go a little bit more in detail about that, just do a score about your daily encounters. Milo, do a score about your daily encounters with maybe, for example, love, right? A love relationship. So how are your encounters? How are your love relationships? Are they serving? Are they uplifting? Are they supportive? Is love reflected? Is love expressed? What does it feel like love, right? You should be able to close your eyes, right? Past the senses, everything's gonna be past the senses on this channel. You should be able to look past the senses in your encounters with love, your daily encounters with your love relationship or whoever that is or whatever that is, should be loving and should feel like love. So that's one way to look at it. It's just for a quick scan, a quick review of self-love is your love relationship currently. So what does that look like for you? What does that feel like? Do you enjoy coming home? Is it empowering? Is it loving? Can you feel the love? Can you feel the love in your heart? Can you feel that love tug? And is your love tank full? Or is it disempowering? Is it toxic? Is it self-sabotage? Because you, again, remember the reflection of yourself, reflection of how you feel. So do you love yourself enough to accept a loving relationship? So that's the key. And that's going to be the biggest thing. And that's a big assessment and evaluation of self-love. It's just to look at your relationships with others and to really pinpoint. You can look at your love relationship and to see your encounters with love. Another way to assess your love tank for yourself is to note some of your daily habits and practices. Are you your worst enemy, your biggest critic? And remember, our words are powerful. So you can either speak life to something or you can speak death. So are you your worst enemy regarding, how you look, your hair, your weight, your nose, you name it? Are you your biggest critic? Are you your biggest, are you your worst enemy rather? So you're not speaking life to something or speaking life to yourself, you're speaking death. And so one way I counter some of my negative thoughts, or if the ego, something arises, again, remember these deep conditioning that's rooted from childhood, so that they're always going to be addressed. and they're always going to be reflected rather in your everyday encounters or how you feel about yourself. And that's a great way to take score. But how to address it is when those thoughts come or those thoughts arise, you stop it at the door. So you immediately address that thought that's less than desired, and you counter it with a thought that is desired. So, and then again, you also have to see past the senses, and we're always again going to see past the senses on this channel. You have to see past the undesired look that you have or undesired, relationship. You have to look past the undesired anything and see the desired. So you have to see to the end of what you actually do want, and then what you do want will become a reality for you. Remember, faith is unseen. So it's the unseen seen. So you can't take score of your flaws daily. You literally have to create a new story and a new song. So you have to tell a new story. So in the mirror, you have to look at that acne or that pimple, and you have to tell it that you have smooth, beautiful, radiant skin that's flawless. See what I mean? I know you have to go to Candyland. Go with me. This is what has worked and helped me. And I know will help you too. Just stick with me on this. I'm going somewhere really good. So we talked about one way that you can do it is just your daily affirmation. In your flaws or your love relationships or so, what he or she doesn't embody, you speak life to it. So this is the love. I radiate love. I'm attracting love. Love is my birthright. God is love. And then another way that I like to encounter my daily encounters with love is I like to kind of, set intentions for the day. So how my experience is going to be for the day. So you have to be intentional. That's that intentional living that you hear, or that daily intentional living is going to be important. It's going to be key, or else you're kind of free game for the free spaces in your mind for something else to powerfully suggest something else, and then also for the day to take score and for the day to just completely go haywire if you don't set intentions. Being less hard on yourself is going to be key. So being very gentle and loving and kind. So those love affirmations: I have beautiful skin, I have beautiful hair, whatever the goals are. I'm in shape, I'm my perfect weight for my size, I'm perfect, whatever it is, you name it, you have to speak life to it until you believe it, and then it would reflect it. So remember, according to your faith, be it unto you. So once you believe you can have it, it can be done. Remember, if you can't see it in your mind, then you won't have it in the physical. Okay, so it starts in your mind, and that goes for anything that you desire. You have to see it in your mind first. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Another way to address some of these deeply rooted concerns is to do the healing work. You have to heal from trauma. We've all had some level of trauma, growing up. Again, some of those deeply rooted conditioning, we've all had some level. And so the key is going to be to do the healing work with that trauma. It's going to be so important. You surfaced, some of the, disdain or some of the, hard critic and hard judgment for yourself, right? So what are some of the things you think about yourself? And that's going to be a very key, because we have to increase the worthiness in order to, improve the quality of your life, in order to actually align with your desires from God. You have to believe you're worthy of it. You can't have anything you don't believe you deserve to have. Drowning yourself with positive affirmation is going to be key. It's almost like an autopilot. I'm deconditioning, I'm dehypnotizing from what was given to me, from all the auto suggestions and the powerful suggestions growing up. And again, some of the conditioning, some of us directly in our homes, whether it be lack of love, whether it be a toxic relationship with a parent, whether it be toxic love relationships growing up, all that trauma, the healing has to be done. So you surface the trauma, make it plain, and so surface the feelings that you get with the truth. If you're the one that likes to say, I always attract the, guys that like to use me, or I always attract the guys that are no good, or the whatever, then that's exactly what you're going to get. Boomerang style, what you think is true will become true for you. So you have to choose a new thought that serves you. You have to choose a new belief. You literally have to hypnotize yourself and reprogram yourself and literally drown yourself in the unseen before you can see it. And it's always attracting the friend that does this, or the guy that does that, or the friend that's, backstabs or betrays, or the friends that's less than loving or kind, the friends that are hard on you, the significant other that's hard on you. It's because of how you feel about yourself. So that's why you can do an assessment of your encounters, right? How do people, how do you experience other people when you go to the grocery store, at the dog park? Are your encounters loving? And that could give you an evaluation of how you really feel about yourself, and your worthiness of love, if you are allowing yourself to be loved. Another way to take score of if you love yourself is just to note some of your behaviors, your daily behaviors. So are you engaging in self-sabotaging behavior as well? So are you, eating, overeating, excessively eating, or undereating? Are you, eating healthy food? So it's your temple. Are you treating your temple, the way you should be treating your temple? I mean, you have your cheat days, you have your cheat moments, you have cheat vacations, but routinely, what do you desire? Do you desire to harm yourself or not? Way to take score of your self-love, or use your love tank full. Self-love tank full. Do you really love yourself or not? Self-hatred versus love is to take account of some of your daily physical habits as well. So look at your diet. So again, you don't have to necessarily be on a diet, but what are some of the food choices? And we all know what's beneficial for us. We've been learning it for so long, but what practices what conditioning, deep conditioning that you have, that you continuously go to the unhealthy behaviors, right? So that just gives you, because you're on autopilot, you know it's healthy, you know it's good for you, but you still choose the unhealthy choices. And we have cheat days, we have cheat vacations, we have cheat months, whatever, cheat weeks, a cheat day out of the week. But we're talking about some of your daily routine behaviors. What does that look like? Also, whether it be excessive drinking, alcohol, excessively smoking, you name it, or what is your smoke of choice? Is it harmful to your temple? Drink driving, that used to be me too, in college, and when I was recklessly living and, kind of, you know, invincible. And so, what are some practices you're conditioned to perform, or some of the deeply rooted conditioning where you're engaging in harmful behavior practices, even though you know what's like the helpful, healthy choices? Does that make sense? Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Just to recount, we're doing an assessment of self-love in our tank by looking at our daily encounters with others and with nature, with our experiences when we, our daily experiences. Then we are, surfacing some of the conditioning that may have happened while we were a child. Okay, so the deeply rooted conditioning along the way that has us on autopilot for unhealthy choices and behaviors. And you could do an assessment of some of your behaviors, some of your choices, right? Some of your daily choices, some of your daily physical habits, okay, whether that be, laziness, procrastination, you name it. So all of those daily habits, and what are some of the deep conditioning that you have experienced? So we're addressing it, we're surfacing it, we're doing some healing work from it. And then we are going to counter it. We're countering negative thoughts with a positive thought right at the door. So once it starts, we are doing daily affirmations of love. So we're speaking life to our situation, life to that marriage is not working, life to the children that are driving you nuts, or that one child that you just can't stand. I've heard it. So you speaking life to those things versus negativity, and versus telling a song of the same song, you're telling a new song. So come with me and go with me to Candyland, because I've been like literally in Candyland for almost 10 years, where I was so naive and I just thought everything was unicorns and rainbows. And now I see why that was important, because it's actually creating my next moment. So if I believe what I believe to be true will be true for me. And so same for you, you're no different. And so you take score, you surface, you do the healing, and then you counter with the positive, and you drown yourself in love, and you recondition and reprogram yourself for love. So that means you're doing positive affirmations, even seeing through what is presented before you, what is seen with the senses, seeing through that and speaking life to it, right? Exactly. And you, lastly, you will be engaging in ending some of those negative practices, whether it be ending that relationship that no longer serves you. That means you love yourself now. You finally love yourself enough to accept and be worthy enough for love. So you're ending that toxic relationship. You're taking space from a toxic friend if you need to. You're taking space from the toxic foods and behaviors and patterns of excessive, you name it, excessive anything really. And you are mindful, and you're changing it for new, positive, loving, healthier habits. That does it for today. I hope that helps someone. And I will see you in the next video. And merci for watching. Au revoir.